Today, CBS News is getting an exclusive look at new video from Dramatic Heights. This 360-degree footage released by the Air Force was taken from inside a U-2 spy plane. It is the first time the public is getting a glimpse from this vantage point. These high-flying, intelligence-gathering aircraft can soar over 70,000 feet in the air, and they can travel more than 400 miles per hour. Here's a look behind the scenes of what it's like to fly on the edge of the atmosphere, courtesy of the U.S. Air Force.
Not a whole lot of jobs where you can fly jets and drive race cars all in the same day. It's just a real kick in the pants, taking off in a heavyweight U-2, just feeling the thrust of that engine and climbing up to slip the surly bonds of Earth as we do. When you're up at altitude and you see things like the Terminator line and you start to see the flat horizon of the Earth start to curve, it kind of makes you feel small. Where you realize you're just a really tiny piece of this big thing that's going on that I can't even really perceive. You can't grasp the entirety of it, but you see night physically taking over the daytime because this big black line is moving forward over it. It's humbling. And if you're flying the right direction, you can actually see nighttime creeping up on you, and it's just this big, dark line that slowly overtakes. We do utterly amazing things out there that we can't then go home and talk to our families about, and we can't talk to people in an interview about because they're the classification level, and we don't want that sort of stuff getting compromised. The U-2, when it started out, was associated with the CIA. The CIA ran the program, so a lot of people said, okay, if you're CIA, then you're a spy. Later on in the U-2's life, it transitioned to an Air Force program where it's only Air Force officers flying it. And at that point, it's reconnaissance operations, it's military reconnaissance that's happening out there. Another aspect of misconceptions that I see out there, occasionally in the news, you'll see the U-2 referred to as a Cold War relic. And that always makes people who are around the U-2 community sort of giggle, because you know that the people making those statements aren't fully informed. If you go out on the flight line, you can see what the U-2 is doing. It's a different airplane. It's bigger, it's more powerful, it's got modern, up-to-date sensors that do amazing things. You couldn't really construe that with a Cold War relic. There have been many periods of time where the U-2 has been on the chopping block. And people said it's been around for a long time, it's now time for it to make a graceful exit. And each time, commanders out in the field hedge. They go, no, I don't think we're quite ready to get rid of this yet. It's still providing us with some awesome intelligence gathering, and we really think that we should keep it around for a while. And time after time, the U-2 sticks around. So that's got to tell you something about what it's providing for combatant commanders out there.
So joining me now is former U-2 pilot, Lieutenant General Bob Otto. You are also the Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance in the U.S. Air Force. That video is amazing.
It is.
Yeah, I want to just show a little bit more of that. You have flown this plane. What is it like to look out over the horizon and be somewhere in the middle of Earth and the heavens?
The picture of being at very high altitude, being the highest human on the planet, and conducting a mission for the Air Force is something that's unforgettable.
Yeah, I bet. The pilot said that there are things that are done that he can't come home and talk about. Was it like that for you?
It was. Yeah. It's such an amazing airplane with such great capabilities to look and to listen. And people don't understand what the benefit of altitude is. So, for example, we could be flying over New York City and listening to or taking pictures of Washington, D.C. That kind of reach from a high altitude platform is very special for our country.
I think that people would think, at this point, don't we have satellites that can do this sort of surveillance? How is the U-2 plane different?
Well, what matters is the ability to put it where and when we want. Satellites have predictability based on orbiting around the Earth, and the U-2 can be where the commander wants it at the precise time that they want it.
Now, this video is pretty special for us because it's exclusive to CBS. This is no one else has seen this before, really seen the pilot's point of view.
It's neat technology.
Yeah. Why is it so valuable now? You know, he mentioned in the pilot there mentioned that there have been times throughout the last several decades that there's been talk of, you know, parking the U-2, closing down the program, but it never quite dies, does it?
Right. I think there's three things. The first one is the airplane has incredible sensors, and so what we're able to pick up, both look and listen, is really something that no other platform is quite as good at doing. The second thing is the combatant commanders want more overall ISR, and so as they ask for more and more intelligence, it's more than just what a single platform has been able to give, and that's why we've used it. And then the third thing is we've always liked the U-2 and what its product brings. There just isn't enough money in the budget to support two platforms, and so we have to, at some point, go with just one platform.
I know that during the time when Russia was pushing its way and annexing Crimea, there were renewed calls to have U-2 planes maybe conduct surveillance missions, I guess that's how you phrase it, over Russia. When we read about that, I didn't know whether I should feel less secure or more secure about the state of our world. It sounded very much like the primary reason why the U-2 was put into play because of the Cold War. And so I wanted to ask you, should I feel safer or unsafe?
I think you should feel safer. That is not a Cold War platform. It is just as modern as anything that we have fielded today. And the ability to be able to stand off from a country and still gain intelligence inside of that country is something that is pretty special and that our country can do with the technology that we have.
Yeah. And what do you make of our current battles in the Middle East? ISIS, you know, certainly the U.S. military has taken out a number of leaders, but then another one always pops up. People have compared it to whack-a-mole, that it's just sort of hard to contain this terrorist organization that moves beyond borders. What do you think is the right strategy, and is this something that the U-2 can contribute to?
One of the things we're trying to do is to also target ISIL's long-term capabilities. And so that is not whack-a-mole. That's going after their oil, going after their cash, going after their key infrastructure and their command and control. And to gather the intelligence to make that happen, a platform like the U-2 is very helpful.
There's been a lot of talk on the campaign trail about how to move forward. Certainly Donald Trump has talked about the importance of intelligence, but also his desire to have less troops on the ground. I guess if you're not putting troops on the ground to get intelligence, you got to use something else.
We have relied heavily on the Air Force to provide intelligence really for the conflicts in the last 20 years. And you're absolutely right. This is something that the commanders want more of, and we try to supply just as much as we can.
Well, General Otto, I got to thank you so much for sharing that video with us. It takes your breath away just looking at it. I can't imagine what it's like to be behind the controls of the U-2. Thank you so much.
I'd love to be up there. Thank you.